Okay, well, thanks very much. The cars will be on the grid shortly for the rolling start for the Goodyear Brick Car Endurance Championship Trophy category. I'm currently noting down the starting drivers, so we'll perhaps take some interviews from earlier on with Ewan.
Here in the pit lane with Simon Baker and Kevin Clark. Tell us about that flying lap, guys. Pole position.
Kev, you won I think it was your lap.
It's good, but it's such a small track and lots of traffic, and you've just got to try and jockey for a bit of space and give it your best shot. I was quite lucky. I did have a decent run, but you always seem to just catch a car just at the wrong time that costs you the most time. But it's good. A lot of the guys, all the guys are really good. To be fair, there's different classes, so you do get differences in speed, but they're all pretty good. They all understand endurance and they want to keep the car in one piece.
I was going to ask the question, with such a small track and so many different classes on the track at the same time, how do you find that bit of clean air?
You're constantly in your mirrors, and you want to back up, but the last thing you want is somebody to come by you because you're dawdling around. So you have to sort of, you're jockeying for a position, you're trying to get as close as you can, then you'll drop back, and then hopefully you've got a lap before you back up behind the next car again. Now
you are championship leaders, Simon, plenty of pole positions, plenty of wins to your name. What is a successful weekend for you guys?
Basically, we need to get points. We need to get points this weekend, so it's about keeping the car on the track, getting around the corners. That's the main thing. But obviously the weather could play a part later, so we're not too happy about rain. But
can you tell us a little bit about your tactics later on in both races?
Yeah, just stay out of trouble. If you stay on the track and you don't hit anybody, chances are you'll be at the sharp end. But if we can win it, fantastic. If we can't, we're not going to get upset about it. We've got to collect the points and look at the bigger picture.
And Simon, just tell us a bit about the car behind you as well.
Yeah, basically, the guys at Woodrow Motorsport built me this car. It took 4 years to build. A hell of a lot of time and effort, and me working 7 days a week to get this built. But now it's all coming together, and it's an amazing car. So next year we're looking at going up into endurance on a Saturday, so it's all looking good.
I think the other trophy guys will be keen to see the back of it.
I think so, yeah.
Best of luck for the race, guys.
Thank you.
For talking to us.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you.
We are here in the pits with Mark Lee. Mark, second place behind the mighty BMW. How was your lap?
Yeah, good. There's more to come, hopefully. Busy traffic. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good race.
And tell us a little bit about Brands Hatch. What is it like taking a car this around such a short track? It must be particularly exciting.
Yeah, it's physically demanding. I don't know if you can see the sweat coming, but yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And you're racing on your own, Mark, because most of the teams are in pairs.
Yeah, I want to become a better driver, so I'm just seat time. So yeah, it'd be nice to have a pro.
But you still have to take the 2 minute pit
Yes,
stop.
I've still got to have the same. Yeah.
And now tell us about the car, because you just mentioned to me it only just squeezes into the trophy category.
Yeah, so this is a Ginetta G56 Academy car. I don't know if you know, there's a new Academy class Ginetta have brought out. So it's basically a detuned G55. So I ain't got the same horsepower. It's got less horsepower, different diff, and yeah, a few other things. But yeah, the car looks the same as like a Super Cup.
Now, unlike other cars in the pits, the doors are closed, it's not up on the bricks. Is it ready to go? Do you do anything between now and the race, or are you just going to shoot out?
It should be okay, hopefully. I'll let the team do all that, yeah.
Fantastic. Mark, best of luck with the race.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, we are in the pits with the Brick Car Clio pole sitters, Steve and Aaron Thompson, father and son. Talk us through your morning so far.
The points?
Talk us through your morning.
Oh, the morning, sorry. Yeah, just put a new set of tyres on, put just about enough fuel in it for the 20-minute qualifying. Aaron always goes out first because he can handle a lot better looser car than I can. Being old and my reaction time's a lot slower. But no, we went out, put 2 very good laps in, which I think secured us for the front row of our class. P12 I think is on track. So yeah, it's always difficult. It's a very tight track, but looking forward like going into racing, it's a tight track. I think it's just about settling down in the first lap, get your position, then try and pick them off, and then wait for them to come round and lap us.
Aaron, 3 wins, 2 seconds this season, plenty of poles as well. You are the formidable force in the Clios. How do you keep doing it?
I think it's just keeping it easy, at the end of the day, we're here because we love motorsport. We enjoy what we do. It's a thing for me and my dad to go do together. And I think the lack of pressure, we did such a high pressure environment for racing for so many years, that edge comes off, and we just seem to sort of be in our element. Dad's raced rear-wheel drive for a lot of years. Big transition from front-wheel drive with the technology the Clio has as well. It was a big sort of transitional period, but we sort of seem to settled in. We understand this tyre really well. I spent a lot of years on this tyre. It's what a lot of people are struggling with. I was talking to Anton today. He was saying he struggled with understeer. There's certain things of how the car's set up and how to sort of drive the tyre, which I think is just giving us the advantage at the minute.
With such a record of wins and podiums, I mean, how do you rate your weekend? Is 2 wins all you're looking for?
A car back on the trailer with four wheels on it is a successful weekend. We are. It's all right saying, "Oh, we're here because we love it." We want to win. I mean, a win is what we're going for. The second place is great. Can't say it doesn't stink.
Steve, father and son, who's the boss? Who's in charge?
Well, I pay the bill, so I'm in charge. No, it's not. It's just a team effort. There's, when I go out on the grid to see Aaron, it's the main thing. Just go out and enjoy it, mate. We're here for a bit of we're weekend warriors. That's all we are. Just go out, have a laugh, and if we come in, we're smiling. It was great. Yes, there'll be times when you come in where you could have done this, could have done that, but could have, would have, should have doesn't win races. It's just finish. Well,
weekend warriors, pole sitters, championship leaders, I think you do the best you can. Good luck for the race. We'll catch up with you later.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
So the cars will be coming to the grid fairly shortly. Good to see it here from a few of our drivers there. We'll give you the grid and the starting drivers fairly shortly. I think we can hear possibly for another driver in a moment down in pit lane about to head out from the grid. I can tell you as well there are a few spots of rain coming down, so this is going to get interesting here. It's been changeable weather here this weekend at Brands Hatch. We're hoping the weather would hold off for our first Goodyear Brick Car Endurance Trophy category race. As you say, this will be a 50 minutes race. The pit window opens after 20 minutes for the mandatory pit stop and driver change. Let's have a look at the grid then. In pole position it is the Woodrow Motorsport number 10 BMW. Kevin Clark will be starting that car. Simon Baker will take over, looking for their 5th win of the season. Alongside them 74, looking for his 1st win of the season, Mark Lee in the SVG Ginetta. The second row, 111, the Datum Motorsports Ginetta G55. I believe Axel van Nederveen is driving solo in that car. That had a double win at Silverstone. I don't think Adriano Medeiros is here this time. Alongside the BMW from Simon Green Motorsport, number 40, Jasvir Sapra will start. Brian Branson takes over. The third row, number 98, the second Simon Green Motorsport car of Lee Frost and Lucky Kira. Lee Frost will take the start, starting alongside Steve Rothery in his Peugeot 308. He drives solo. The fourth row, number 2, Peter Spano will start the Ramen Racing Ginetta. Andrew Bentley takes over, alongside number 14, Terry Stevens. He's in a Peugeot 308. Row 5, the County Classics Porsche Class 2 points leader Richard Higgins starts alongside the Team Brit BMW, which is started by Andrew Tucker. Charles Graham takes over. Row 6 is the PrepTech Renault Clio, the Clio Endurance car. Ryan Firth starting. Andy Mollison takes over. Alongside them, Mac G Racing. We normally see Johnny McGregor in the Endurance Championship in Trophy with his Mazda RX-8 this time. McGregor starts. Josh Tomlinson will take over. The 7th row, number 199, which is the Invitation Class Honda Civic. Ricky Kuma taking the start, sharing with Mark Simmons. Alongside number 41, the first of the Clios. Just heard from the Thompson family. Aaron Thompson will start. Dad Steve takes over. Row 8, number 19, the Reflex Ginetta G20. Leading the points in Class 3. Steve Griffith starts. Jamie Vinnell-Meyer will take over. Starting alongside Anton Spires in his Renault Clio, shared with Darren Gerhardt. Anton is going first. Row 9, the Chandler Motorsport VW Golf, number 35. That will be started by Andy Wheatley. Stephen Chandler takes over. Alongside number 27, the Vinner Sports Ginetta of Charlotte Birch. Next on the grid on row 10, number 45, Arthur McMahon with his Honda Civic. Will start alongside the number 67 Clio of James Black from Westbourne Motorsport. On row 11, number 80, which is Anthony Hutchings in his Porsche Boxster, starting alongside the number 62 Clio. Tony Davies starts that car. James Colburn will take over. The 12th row, the Motus 1, number 11, which is the Clio of Steve O'Brien and Matt Cherrington. Steve O'Brien going first. The TSR VW Golf of Robert Taylor will be alongside him. Rob Taylor driving solo this weekend, co-driver Mark Jones not here. The 13th row, number 34, Alistair Lindsay with his Seat Leon, alongside number 47, the Reflex Racing Ginetta. Jamie Vinall-Meyer starts that car. He's driving 2 cars in this race, and Stuart Gibbons will take over that one from him. On the 14th row, the Derek McMahon Racing number 57, the Alfa Giulietta. Paul Plant starts that car. Barry McMahon takes over. Alongside Team Brit's second BMW, Luke Pound starts. It's Bobby Trundley, normally seen in the endurance category, who shares. And the final row of the grid, number 83, the Cook family in their Honda Civic. Edward Cook starts, Steve Cook takes over, and the Mazda MX-5 invitation class runner James Chase, the Paul Sheardron car, completes the grid. Here they come then to the grid. The first 4 races of the season were all won by the Woodrow Motorsports BMW. It was beaten at Silverstone in rounds 5 and 6 by the Ginetta of Datum Motorsport. Axel van Nederveen was sharing with Adriano Medeiros, very experienced pro racer. But I don't think Adriano is here this weekend. I think I saw his name blanked out on the starters sheets. We'll have a double check of that. Yes, Adriano Medeiros not here. Axel van Nederveen driving on his own. There's that stunning Mazda RX-8. Certainly not a standard Mazda RX-8. Johnny McGregor and Josh Tomlinson. Terry Stevens' Peugeot 308, one of 2 in this race. Steve Rothery has the other one. So they're out on their warm-up. They'll move onto the grid as directed by the volunteer marshals. To confirm, this is the trophy category, not the endurance and Praga championships that we should have seen yesterday. Now the car's pulling into line, and I believe one car received a grid penalty because the number 40 BMW, that's Jasvir Sapra and Brian Branson, starting further back on the grid. They got a grid penalty for an infringement during qualifying. So they've moved further back on the grid. Yes, they're starting from row 6, I believe. Yes, they're just behind the Preptech Renault Clio there. So the number 40 Simon Green Motorsport BMW, Jasvir Sapra and Brian Branson receive that grid penalty down to 12th place. Where's the pole sitter, the BMW? There's what the weather looks like at the moment. It's a bit iffy here at Brands Hatch. Let's hope we're not going to have a cloudburst during this race. Cars being gridded up then. There's the other Simon Green Motorsports BMW, the black and orange number 98. That's started by Lee Frost and shared by Lucky Caro. We've seen him in the Brit Car Endurance Championship this year in his Ferrari. That car will fly when Lucky gets on board, and Lee Frost, a quick racer as well. He's competed in the Porsche Carrera Cup GB, among other things. But on pole is that amazing BMW, the 1 Series Coupe of Kevin Clark and Simon Baker, prepared by Woodrow Motorsports. And they've built an absolute rocket ship of a car. Will it take win number 5 of the season here at Brands Hatch? The Mac G Racing RX-8 has pulled back into the pits, Johnny McGregor. So hopefully they're going to take the start from the pit lane. It's a new car for them, so probably some teething problems with it, unless they're changing tyres, of course. Where we see it in pit lane, no, it doesn't look like they are changing tyres. Looks like they've had a last-minute hitch. Interesting to see that Jamie Vinall-Meyer, we normally see him sharing with Steve Griffiths in the number 19 car, is driving 2 cars in this race. He's starting the number 47 Ginetta And he'll hand that to Stuart Gibbons, then jump into the number 19 car when Steve Griffiths comes in. Hope he's a fast runner. This will be a 50-minute race with a mandatory pit stop. Some cars changing driver. And for the second race later on, the cars will, the top 3 in each class will receive a few seconds success penalty to serve at their pit stop in race 2. 15 seconds for a class win, 10 for second, 5 for third. There's Steve Rothery, number 308 on the left, ex-Clio racer, has had a go at truck racing as well in the past. Now in that lovely Peugeot 308, similar machine of Terry Stevens behind him. One car that is here that hasn't made it as far as the race, the number 20 Peugeot RCZ of Charlie Campbell and Rob Smith. I believe they had problems in qualifying and have withdrawn. Number 2 there, the Diabetes UK backed Ginetta G20, G40 I should say, of Peter Spano and Andrew Bentley. The championship currently led by the number 10 BMW, Simon Baker and Kevin Clark. Ollie Rubens also appeared in that car this season. Leading Class 2, Richard Higgins in the blue Porsche you can see in the background there. Oh, and looks like the Simon Green Motorsport BMW's got the kettle on. Oh dear, Lee Frost has boiled over. So hopefully he's going to be able to start the race. Looks like he's brewed up there. Milk and 1 sugar, please, Lee. Yes, that car has well and truly boiled over. That's a great shame. Water everywhere. So let's all have a brew. Okay, so there may be a delay here. That car may need to be pushed off the grid. Marshall's spoken to Lee. Is he going to risk it? Marshall radioing to his colleagues there. Let's see what's going to happen. There's water everywhere from the 98 car. And I think they're signalling him off the grid. So he's going to be pushed off the grid. You can see coolant everywhere there. The BMW has boiled over. That's a great shame. From the Simon Green Motorsport car, Lee Frost and Lucky Kera, both very quick drivers. I've seen Lucky in British GT, among other things, this season. I'm pleased to see the Orange Hearts decals on there as well. Tributes to the Orange Army. Well, now Lee Frost runs on the track and the wipers are on because the rain has started to come down. Well, it was going to be slippery on the Brabham Straight anyway. Now it's going to be slippery everywhere. This is going to be interesting. Yep, the rain is well and truly coming down here at Brands Hatch. That Lee Frost coming back to his car. Now we wait to see what's going to happen. The marshals are going to push him away. Are they push starting him or pushing him off the circuit? Pace car in position for the rolling start. You can see the rain coming down. We spare a thought for the Orange Army once again, stuck out in the rain. Now, what's going to happen here with the number 98 of Lee Frost? Yeah, he's being pushed into the paddock. So we'll wait to see what's going to happen here, whether Lee Frost will start from the pit lane or not. Johnny McGregor's Mazda RX-8 is going to start from the pit lane. I can tell you that that's there. So you can just see it there alongside the Marshall centre screen. There is the Mazda RX-8. RotaryRevs.com on the side. That rotary engine car, of course. Very impressive looking machine. Let's hope it goes as well as it looks. It's going to certainly be slip and slide in the early stages here of this Goodyear Brick Car Endurance Championship Trophy category race. Couple of gaps on the grid now. And the BMW is taken back into its garage. This is going to be an interesting one. Before all that, we were talking about the points leaders. Class 1 and overall championship led by the number 10 BMW. Class 2 is led by Richard Higgins, the blue Porsche, number 15. Class 3 by Steve Griffiths and Jamie Vinol-Meyer in the Ginetta G20, number 19. As the pace car moves off. Here we go with the rolling starts. The Clio class is led by the Thompsons. And they're third overall in the championship. Into the rain they go then. This is certainly going to be an interesting one. There's Mark Taylor, Rob Taylor rather, the Black Golf. His regular co-driver Mark Jones not here this weekend. Axel van Nederveen, the Dutchman, driving solo. Just trying to get some heat into their tyres here, these Goodyear tyres. Wonderful to see the variety in the Goodyear Brick Car Endurance Championship. They are going to be running an eSports Championship Brick Car as well, starting in October. Sponsored by Butt Kicker Sim Racing Systems. Yes, really. A little more info on that later on. Two separate series, one for regular brick car drivers and one for top sim racers. There are some who do both, of course. Jimmy Broadbent. Here they come then up towards the rolling starts for Goodyear Brick Car Endurance Championship Trophy category race number 1. Looks like we are going round for another lap in view of the conditions. The clock has started, but the pace car still out. We're starting behind the safety car for an extra lap by the look of it. Okay then, just to give the drivers a chance to get some heat into their tyres and get used to the conditions. It is only a short lap here at Brands Hatch, of course. So the clock has started. The pace car still out. They are now forming up 2 by 2, so it looks like we may go green this time. Number 10, Kevin Clark, alongside Mark Lee, number 74 in the Ginetta. Just under 30 cars out. Coming round towards the green flag this time then, this first race of the day for the Goodyear Brick Car Endurance Championship Trophy category. Kevin Clark in the number 10 BMW on pole, Mark Lee in the Ginetta alongside him. Just under 30 cars on the grid. The pace car is in pit lane on a very wet and slippery track here on the Brands Hatch Indy circuits. Axel van Nederveen lurking in his Ginetta on the second row. Peter Spano next in his Class 2 Ginetta as they come up towards the lights, and away they go down towards Paddock Bend for the First time, it is the BMW of Kevin Clark who has got the lead. Axel van Nederveen goes through into second place, and a great start by Steve Rothery up into fourth in the Peugeot 308, side by side with Mark Lee. Richard Higgins and Terry Stevens, Porsche and Peugeot, are next. Mark Lee has not got the start he wanted at all. It's Kevin Clark's BMW who leads the way. Rothery up into third place. Richard Higgins going well in the Class 2 Porsche as well. Peter Spano's dropped back slightly in his Ginetta, behind the Team Brits BMW of Andy Tucker. Slip and slide their way round. Watch for Jasvir Sapra, the grey BMW. Oh, Mark Lee's spun. He's backwards in the Ginetta. Hopefully everybody is going to avoid him. Yes, the pack has got through. Mark Lee will have to rejoin at the tail of the field. It's Kevin Clark who leads. It is impossibly slippery out there at the moment. See the BMW twitching there as Kevin tries to put the power down onto the Brabham straight. It's Axel van Nederveen in second place. Third is Steve Rothery. Terry Stevens fourth. And it's the smaller front wheel drive cars that might have the advantage here. Look at the way Ryan Firth's going in the silver Clio. He's already made up 4 places on the first lap. Gets past Richard Higgins in the Porsche. Yes, the Clio's certainly running well. Ryan Firth and Andy Mollison's Clio running in Class 2 rather than in the Clio class, because it's an endurance specification Clio. Steve Rothery running well in his Peugeot here, chasing the Van Nederveen Ginetta. Now Adriano Medeiros' name showing on the timing graphics, but I was told he's not here, so it may be Van Nederveen driving solo. We can confirm that a little later on, as Kevin Clark leads in the BMW, twitching his way round. Of course, the pit window opens after 20 minutes. Steve Rothery trying to take second place away there. Stevens fourth in the second of the Peugeots, then Ryan Firth. And another of the front-wheel drive cars going well is the Invitation Class Honda Civic there, number 199. Ricky Kuma sharing with Mark Simmons. Gets past Richard Higgins in the Porsche. Slide their way through Druids Hill Bend. Running wide there, Steve Rothery, but he's got second position ahead of Axel van Nederveen through there. So the Peugeot moves up into second place. Rear-wheel drive cars struggling in these conditions. And I think we can head down to the pits and speak to one of the drivers waiting to get going.
Okay, we are here in the pit lane with car number 98 with Lucky Kerr. Bit of an issue on the start line. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, the car overheated, and then once we've got it back to the pits, the header tank where the water cell has blown. So it's looking like race over unless we can find a header tank. And
so, I was going to ask, is that first race done? You make it up for the second race later on the
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get the car out and see if it works for the next race.
Well, best of luck, very much hope you can. Obviously lots of work to do on the car, looks like.
Yeah.
Cheers, Lucky.
Okay.
Good to hear from Lucky Kera there. Racer in all manner of different forms of motorsport around the UK, the West Midlands-based businessman. And that car out for this race with a blown header tank. Somebody off in the background there, that was Steve Griffiths, the number 19 Ginetta. The car that's leading the points in Class 3 has had a spin coming out of Paddock Bend. There's cars sliding and slipping and skidding all over the place at the moment in these wet conditions. Your leader is Kevin Clark ahead of Steve Rothery. There's the Ginetta off of Steve Griffiths trying to recover. He's just about done so, got it off the grass there, side by side between Clio and Honda. That's Ricky Kuma alongside the 41 of, no, it's the number 4, sorry, of Anton Spires. Similarly coloured car to the 41 of Aaron Thompson, who's behind him. So I think that's the battle for the lead, yes, in the Clio class, and they're 7th and 8th overall. It's Kevin Clark that leads in the BMW. Second is Steve Rothery. Axel van Nederveen is third. Then the Ryan Firth, Andy Mollison Clio is fourth. He's got ahead of Terry Stevens now, so the grey Clio is the car to watch at the moment. There it is, ahead of Terry Stevens. Sixth behind them is the Kuma and Simmons Honda, then Anton Spires and Aaron Thompson in the Clios. Richard Higgins Porsche is down to 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Andy Tucker in the Team Brit BMW. Team Brit, of course, the squadron that helps those with physical and psychological handicaps to go motor racing. And the safety car is coming out. Yellow flag's out, the safety car is being deployed. Whether that's in general due to the conditions or whether somebody's gone off, I'm not sure. Clios have got past the Honda Civic there in the battle lower down the top 10. So the safety car is out. We seem to have lost, there it is, the number 62. I was just about to say we've lost number 62, Tony Davies in the Clio. He's had an off. That's coming out of Paddock Bend, and looking at the back of the car, he's gone off into the barriers on the inside. So safety car deployed due to Tony Davies' stranded Renault Clio, shared with James Colburn. Sometimes see Sarah Franklin, the leading lady of Clios, sharing that car. We now go under safety car. Now, is this going to take us to the pit window opening? I don't think so. So the BMW safety car joins the field then. It'll pick up our race leader, number 10, Kevin Clark, in the Woodrow BMW. There we are. There's one back marker between him and second place 308, Steve Rothery. Now, the pit window opens when there are 30 minutes left on the clock. So unless we have a very long safety car period here, this won't take them into it. Steve Rothery going well in the Peugeot. I know his family are usually watching on our live streams, so hello if you're watching Team Rothery. Third place behind them is the Ginetta of Axel van Nederveen. There's Steve Griffiths going again after his spin at Paddock. And Ryan Firth going well in fourth, the number 177 Clio ahead of Terry Stevens. Then we've got Anton Spires and Aaron Thompson, the two Clio class cars, because of course Ryan Firth's car in a different class. Okay, the Orange Army in action again, the pickup truck getting ready to tow the TerraClean sponsored number 62 Clio, run by Westbourne Motorsports, to a position of safety. Tony Davies and James Colburn out of the race. Looks like it's spun coming out of Paddock and hit the barrier backwards. The sky looking lighter here at Brands Hatch, so I think the circuit will start to dry out again a little. Cart's really lost out in the early stages. Peter Spano in the number 2 Ginetta. He's down to 25th place. Number 119 has pulled into the pits, the Mazda MX-5 there. That's of James Chase. So whether he's had a problem there, as you say, the pit window not yet open. We heard from Lucky Kera. He and Lee Frost in the BMW are going to have to find a new header tank for that car. It's the reason for the coolant being ejected on the grid. So if anyone's got a header tank for an E46 BMW M3, please go and see Simon Green Motorsport. Hopefully we'll see them back out. That's a very quick pair of drivers and a quick car. Pickup truck is making its way away from the scene up there, so it looks like the Clio is in a position of safety. So is Tony Davies. You can just see him centre left of your screen there behind the barrier. He's okay, taking his crash helmet off. Now when the lights go out atop the safety car, that means we're going back to racing. Lights are still on at the moment. There we see the BMW safety car, so we'll do another lap here. This first race for the Goodyear Brick Car Endurance Championship trophy category here at Brands Hatch. They'll have another race later on in the day, with the top 3 in each class having those extra few seconds at their pit stops as a success penalty. Cars weaving to keep the heat in these Goodyear tyres. There's the Porsche of Anthony Hutchins, the Boxster. The RX-8 behind it of Johnny McGregor. He started from the pit lane, of course, already up into 16th place. Johnny Mack. Safety car still with the lights on at the moment. We'll wait to see if they go out this time around. We head along the Cooper Straight, the lights are still on. So we may not go back to racing this time. It all depends on the clerk of the course's direction, of course. Andy Mollison and Ryan Firth's Clio in the lead of Class 2. Anton Spires leads the Clio class. Who's leading Class 3? It's Andy Wheatley in the VW Golf, shared with Stephen Chandler. Safety car has come into pit lane, so we are going green this time. He left it late to turn the lights off there. We're back to green flag racing. Away goes Kevin Clark. He's off like a shot over the start-finish line. Of course, the back marker behind him slowing the pack a little. We couldn't pass him before the start-finish line there, and that's allowed Ryan Firth to come through. He's got ahead of Axel van Nederveen there, the Clio up into 3rd place. Terry Stevens' Peugeot going for 4th. Steve Rothery still in 2nd place, but using the cushion of that back marker, Kevin Clark has been able to get away. Terry Stevens all over Axel van Nederveen. That's the battle for 4th place. Both Class 1 cars. Green flags waving around the first lap of this restart here at Brands Hatch. We're going through the class leaders there. There was one car in Class 1 Invitation, which is the Frost and Cara BMW. That didn't start. And Class 3 Invitation is being led by James Chase and the Mazda MX-5. He's the only entry there, running at the tail of the field. We're told that Ricky Coomer and Mark Simmons' Honda Civic was an Invitation class car. That looks like it's running in Class 2, according to the live timing. They could be a contender to win that class. Terry Stevens closes up again on Axel van Nederveen. There's the Honda ahead of Andy Tucker in the Team Brit BMW. There's their second car further down the order. It's in 16th place at the moment. Luke Pound at the wheel. Mark Lee fighting his way back up the order after his spin. We'll have to keep an eye out for, as well as Terry Stevens runs very wide at Druids there, trying to challenge for 4th place. He won't get through there. Oh, he's got it sideways over the curb. A little bit late on the brakes there, Terry Stevens. That's going to allow Aaron Thompson to come through. Aaron had just taken the lead of the Clio class from Anton Spires on the previous lap. Similarly coloured cars, those two. Difficult to tell them apart from a distance. It is Aaron Thompson who now leads the Clios, sharing with Dad Steve. He's got ahead of Anton Spires, and now this Peugeot is in the mix as well after that mistake at Graham Hill Bend. The more powerful Peugeot gets back ahead. Anton Spires, number 4, sharing with Darren Gerhardt. And still your leader is Kevin Clark. New fastest lap of the race, 56.317. He leads Steve Rothery by 3 seconds in his Peugeot. Further 2 seconds back is the Clio driven by Ryan Firth. He'll hand over to Andy Mollison, the ex-Ford Fiesta Championship racer, among others. He's raced on the European circuits in various saloons and GTs as well at the pit stop. Pit window opens in about 5 minutes from now. The circuit is drying out slowly but surely after that rain shower at the start of the race. Very slippery in the first 2 laps. The right decision to do an extra lap behind the safety car at the start. Kevin Clark out on his own. He's reeling off the fastest laps, 56.065 now. Lead gap up to 4.7 seconds. Lapping James Chase in his Mazda MX-5. And notice the black cross on the yellow background on the back of that car. That means he's a novice. You must wear that on your car for your first 6 motor races in the UK. So James, a newcomer, is learning his craft in his Mark III Mazda MX-5. Down the hill into Graham Hill Bend comes the Woodrow Motorsports BMW. 4 wins in the first 4 races of this year at Silverstone, and Snetterton was nearly beaten by Mark Lee in the second race at Snetterton. They swapped places twice on the last bend. Then at Silverstone on the longer layout in rounds 5 and 6, it was the Axel van Nederveen Ginetta that took both wins, with pro driver Adriano Medeiros sharing on that occasion. Here's the battle in the Clios, Aaron Thompson and Anton Spires. Anton, a long-time Clio racer in the one-make Clio series for many years. Co-driver Darren Gerhardt was in that series for a few years as well. Thompson family lead the way here. Aaron Thompson in the SDT Contracts Clio. I believe that's his father Steve's business. Steve will take over at the pit stop, which could be coming up in about 3 minutes' time. Wait to see who's going to be the first to make their mandatory stop. No pit penalties for this one, of course. Through Graham Hill Bend come the Clios. The smaller, less powerful front-wheel drive cars enjoying an advantage in these conditions. They're almost keeping up with Axel van Nederveen's Ginetta, who's lost out to Terry Stevens, recovering from that moment at Graham Hill Bend. There's Mark Lee moving back into the top 10. He's on the tail of Ricky Kuma's Honda Civic. Just a couple of laps' time, the pit window will open. Team Brit also running well. Andy Tucker sharing with Charles Graham in 8th place. Mark Lee is up to 9th. Ricky Kuma rounds out the top 10, and the Mazda of Johnny McGregor is up into 11th place as well. That's come through very nicely from starting in the pit lane. Still Aaron Thompson leads the Clios. A change for 3rd as well. Terry Stevens has got through into 3rd place in his Peugeot, I can tell you, so he'll try and chase the similar car of Steve Rothery. But our leaders in backmarker traffic, Peter Spano's Ginetta goes a lap down, so does Charlotte Birch in the 27. We'll see her former class, the junior saloon cars, out later on for their single race of the day, the Citroen Saxos. And I can tell you that's going to be an exciting one, because the top 15 in qualifying was separated by less than a second. Kevin Clark turns his way through the left-hander, the man from Birmingham. Began his career on the short ovals. He raced saloon stock cars, lightning rods, Eurocar as well. Remember those? The space frame Ford Mondeos. He was one of the first drivers in those. Moved into the pickup truck racing championship run by Sonny Howard as well, before moving into BMW racing. He started with a Z4 in Britcar. Simon Baker will take over at the pit stops. The pit window will be opening very shortly, so is the BMW going to be one of the first in? They've got such a healthy lead here. 53.334 seconds the last lap for the BMW. So the track is clearly drying out. That's 3 seconds quicker than just a few minutes ago, and they lead by nearly 12 seconds now over Steve Rothery. This BMW is destroying the field here. Rothery 2nd, Stevens 3rd. The Mollison and Firth Clio is 4th, Ryan Firth driving. They lead Class 2. Clio class still led by the Thompsons. Class 3, meanwhile, is being led by Andy Wheatley in the Golf owned by Stephen Chandler's family. Steve will take over at the pit stops. There's the two Peugeots together now, lapping Alistair Lindsay in his Seat Leon. And also in there, Steve Griffiths. And, Steve hasn't seen Terry Stevens there, moved across him at McLaren. And a Clark curve, the Peugeot gets through. And the pit window is open. Is it going to be everybody in at the first opportunity? Or will we see them take their time? So pit window is open. And we'll hopefully see some stops this time around. Here comes Axel van Nederveen attacking the Clio of Ryan Firth there. That's for 4th place. There's the battle in the Clios. Still Aaron Thompson ahead of Anton Spires. And behind them now is Andy Tucker in the Team Brit BMW M2499. There's the Peugeots. There's the fight for 4th, the Clio and the Ginetta. And the two Clios battling for 6th and 7th. Mark Lee is coming up behind them in the Ginetta, behind Andy Tucker. Back up to 9th after spinning in the opening laps and restarting last. Stevens is through into 2nd there. I missed that because the Peugeots look so similar. So Terry Stevens up into 2nd place in the battle of the 308s, but they're over 15 seconds down on the BMW, who's just done a 53.3 dead. Oh, and Rothery has a look there. Terry Stevens moves to cover, having a great fight, these two. A couple of pit callers further back. Alistair Lindsay has come in. Peter Spano has bought the number 2 Ginetta in. Andy Bentley will take over that car. So there goes Kevin Clark. In comes, I think that's the Team Brit, the 2nd Team Brit car. Yes, Luke Pound coming in to hand over to the very quick ex-carter Bobby Trundley, the autistic racer. Team Brit doing so much to help those with physical and psychological problems to go motor racing. And their leading drivers, Aaron Morgan, the driver who is disabled after a motocross accident many years ago. Seen him in Brit Car Endurance Championship this year. As the BMW continues, they're now in the 52s, 52.771. Well, they're not going to bring Kevin Clark in, are they, while he's lapping this quickly? He's lapping a full second quicker than everyone else. Well, more so now with that 52.7. He's 1.5 seconds quicker than everybody else out there. Still the Peugeots 2nd and 3rd. Van Nederveen has got the Ginetta back up into 4th ahead of Ryan Firth. So 3 cars have made their stops. The 47 car of Jamie Vinol-Meyer has now come in to hand over to Stuart Gibbons. Jamie will now wait to get into the number 19 car when Steve Griffiths comes in, filling in for Derek Holden in the 47 car this weekend. There's a green flag. Is that a green flag or a blue flag waving on the run up to paddock to Druids there under the trees? If it's a green flag, that means there's a yellow further round, which might mean somebody's gone off at paddock. May have been a blue flag. I could have been mistaken there. Couldn't quite see under the trees there. Yeah, blue flag being shown there to the number 40, which is Jasvir Sapra, sharing with Kumho BMW regular Brian Branson in this race. The 98 car's back out. They've repaired the cooling system, and Lee Frost is on board. Several laps down though, sadly. None of the leaders have yet made their stops. Ricky Kuma's now brought the Honda Civic in, Mark Simmons taking over. And there we see the first look at the Alfa Giulietta, number 57 of the McMahon family. Paul Plants, long-time Alfa Romeo racer, is currently on board that machine. Barry McMahon normally races an Alfa 156 and is leading the Alfa Romeo Championship, the other series at the moment. He'll take over that car. Andy Wheatley's brought the VW Golf in, Stephen Chandler taking over his car, and Steve O'Brien's Clio is in. Matt Cherrington is going to take over in that machine, former low-cost sports car champion, among other things. Just over 25 minutes of this race to go, and Kevin Clark is pulverising his opposition at the moment. He's lapping in the low 53s, everybody else in the mid 54s and 55s. Leads by nearly 21 seconds over Terry Stevens. The way he's going to be able to make his pit stop, hand over to Simon Baker rather, and they'll come out still in the lead. Such is their advantage. The Thompsons have come in, and so has Anton Spires. The Clio lead battlers are in together. There is Aaron Thompson, Dad Steve ready to take over. Anton Spires is going to hand over to Darren Gerhardt. There's the O'Brien Cherrington Clio in. Matt Cherrington is taking over. They have to be stationary for a minimum of 2 minutes. There's the mandatory pit stop time. There's the slightly smoky Mazda RX-18 of Johnny McGregor. He gets out. It should be Josh Tomlinson getting in. There's a bit of smoke from that car, so there might be problems there. The Mazda RX-8s are rotary, maybe dropping some oil. They are known as consuming a fair amount of oil. There is an oil flag out there. You can see the red and yellow striped flag. That means slippery surface. So there may have been some oil drop there, possibly by that Mazda. 24 minutes of this Goodyear Brick Car Endurance Championship Trophy category race to go. The sun is now out here at Brands Hatch. The track is dry. And Kevin Clark is flying out in front, straight between a couple of back markers there. Steve Griffiths and Richard Higgins in the Porsche. Points leader in Class 2, having to give best to Ryan Firth and Andy Mollison in the Clio so far today. Clark's now done a 52.37. Lapping over a second quicker than everyone else. Total dominance. Kevin Clark and Woodrow Motorsports. Locks up a bit there though, going into Graham Hill Bend, so he's not relaxing. He's trying to build as big a lead as he can to hand over to Simon Baker. Maybe he caught some oil there at Graham Hill Bend. We've seen the oil flag out. Stevens still second, Van Nederveen third. Mark Lee has brought the Ginetta in. He got it up to fifth before going into the pit. Charlotte Birch goes in her Ginetta as well. Mark Lee has gone in. With the Clios coming in, Andy Tucker for Team Brit is now up into fourth place. And is Kevin Clark slowing there? He braked very early for Paddock Bend. Has that BMW got a problem? He's slowing down. Oh my goodness. The leader's in trouble. Oh, what a shame. After Kevin Clark had dominated to such an extent, the BMW has broken down on him. He needs to pull it off the track there. He's stopped dead on the run into Druids. That's a hazardous place to come to a stop. The BMW, it just suddenly slowed coming into Paddock Bend. Oh, what a disappointment for Woodrow Motorsports. Kevin Clark was destroying his opposition there. He was lapping well over a second quicker than everyone else. Is he trying to back it down to the marshal's post, perhaps? Oh, what a shame for Woodrow Motorsport. So that's going to give the lead to Terry Stevens in the Peugeot. Well, I do not know what happened there. He's trying to back it off the circuit there. The yellow flag's obviously out. He was going so well there, and then the car just suddenly slowed on him coming into paddock. Safety car is standing by there, I can see on the left of the circuit, just in case it's needed. It hasn't been called as yet. This is close. The Golf there of Rob Taylor. The Ginetta now handled by Andy Bentley, and Richard Higgins in the Porsche, all getting past the MX-5 there of James Chase. Now, Terry Stevens has come into the pits. And Steve Rothery's been in as well, so the Peugeots in fact have pitted. That's given Axel van Nederveen's Ginetta the lead. Now, Kevin Clark's got going again. There's the BMW, he's coming in. Now, Kevin Clark coming in, we'll try and find out what the problem was there. Did it just need a reset or something? Can happen, an electrical gremlin just needing a Control-Alt-Delete on the number 10 BMW. Will we see Simon Baker go back out in this car, or is it game over? Jasvir Sapra's brought the number 40 BMW in as well to hand over to Brian Branson. The Woodrow Motorsport crew are not there. They weren't expecting him in. Here they come. What's the problem, Kevin? Hopefully Ewan's down there in the pit lane as well and can find out for us. There goes our dominant race leader. Andy Tucker has brought the Team Brits BMW in. So it's Van Nederveen's Ginetta that leads the way. Second now is Ryan Firth in the grey 177 Clio, sharing with Andy Mollison. Andy Tucker has brought the BMW for Team Brit in. Richard Higgins in the Porsche has come in as well. So up to third now is James Black, the number 67 Renault Clio. And somebody off, that's Steve Rothery, another of the front runners. Now it looks like his left rear tyre is off the rim there. So has he had some contact, I wonder? I saw somebody else running wide just before we went to the Peugeot there. Yeah, it's the Team Brit, number 71. That's got a problem as well. Has there been contact between those two? Number 71 driven by Bobby Trundley. I thought I saw another car. There's another car going wide there, the Alfa Romeo. There must be fluid down at Graham Hill Bend because they're all sliding wide there. Steve Rothery is pulling off into the paddock. Looks like damage to the left rear of his car. The Team Brits BMW is coming in. Has that lost a wheel? Yes, it has. Oh, look at the state of that. Meantime, number 10 is going back out. So they may have cured whatever the problem is. Simon Baker now on board. It's all happening here in this Goodyear Brit Car Endurance Championship Trophy category race. There's Richard Higgins, the County Classics Porsche. Now here comes Simon Baker. We'll see if the number 10 BMW is okay. We'll see where it slots back in, because everybody's cycling through their pit stops at the moment, so we'll have to wait and see who is where. Well, BMW back up to speed, just ahead of Charlotte Birch in her Ginetta. That's had some damage. You can see a bit of gaffer tape on the left front there. And the safety car is coming out. Safety car coming out just as Ryan Firth comes into the pits. So everybody who hasn't stopped yet is surely now going to come in. Now, who hasn't stopped? Van Nederveen hasn't stopped, and James Black hasn't stopped. In fact, they're the only two that haven't made their pit stops yet. There's the safety car. It picks up the number 14 of Terry Stevens, but I think the leader is Axel Van Nederveen. No, he's now come in, and Black has come in as well. They've dove straight in there. There is the number 71 BMW. Look at the state of that. The whole right front corner virtually is gone. That's the car of Bobby Trundley and Luke Pound. Cars in the pit lane. There's Axel Van Nederveen's Ginetta, which was leading. There's the reason for the safety car. There is the wheel from Bobby Trundley's BMW. So debris, the reason for the safety car. It's a loose wheel. That belongs to car 71. We didn't see it, but I think he may have hit Steve Rothery's Peugeot coming through Graham Hill Bend, Bobby Trundley there, unfortunately, because there was damage to Rothery's car. He has now pulled off into the paddock. So that's another of the front runners gone. Simon Baker had just rejoined from the pits in the car shared with Kevin Clark. There's the 98's car in. That's the Lee Frost Lucky Kira car. That was the last car to make it stop. Lucky will be getting in. Lee Frost gets out. There's Lucky ready to get in. The reigning Ferrari Challenge UK champion. He's also raced Porsche Carrera Cup GB. He's done Ginettas, Kumho BMWs, just about everything he's raced over the last few years as Lucky. Runs a food business in the West Midlands. Raises money for charity as well for the Birmingham Children's Hospital through his racing. And his daughter, Sukmani, has now started karting as well, so a very busy racing family. So lots of problems for our leading runners here. Now, with everybody cycling through their pit stops, it may take a moment for the safety car to find the race leader. The last couple of front runners to come in were Axel Van Nederveen and James Black in the Clio. Now we've got to wait to see where everybody cycles through. Van Nederveen, you can see, has been held at the end of the pit lane. The red light is on to allow the Crocodile to go past. That'll be frustration for the Ginetta. They timed their pit stop wrong there. That can happen. And it looks like it's Terry Stevens who's got the lead. in the Peugeot, but we'll confirm that in a moment. It may be Andy Mollison's Clio. The safety car waving through. Yeah, Terry Stevens has been waved past by the look of it, so waiting for confirmation on who is leading here. There's nothing worse than a safety car coming out when everybody's in the middle of making their pit stops, because you've got to try and work out who's where and on what lap. And of course, when you make a pit stop on the Indy circuit here at Brands Hatch, you lose the equivalent time of a couple of laps, at least. It's only a short track. Now, who's the safety car going to pick up? We shall see. Safety car driven today by John Busby. Sam Waters, the observer, alongside him. Now I think, yeah, there are the leaders. So it's Van Nederveen and Mollison who have been picked up by the safety car. Just waiting to see where the timing puts those two now, whether it's Van Nederveen or Mollison. We'll see what it shows as they come over the line here. I'll have to wait for the timing to cycle through. Well, I did say Van Nederveen had made his stop at the wrong time. I was wrong, because he is showing as the leader. So Axel Van Nederveen, your leader. Leaving the stop late has proven the right decision. Andy Mollison second in the Clio. James Black in third. Terry Stevens fourth. But the car to watch when we get going again, a little further back in the order in this one, there is Mark Lee. He's fifth in the Ginetta. Now this is his opportunity to continue his catch-up. He was in last place after a couple of laps after a spin. Could he finally get his first win in that number 74, the SVG Motorsport Ginetta? Okay, we can now hand down to the pits. We're going to hand down to Team Brits and find out what's happened there, talking to you.
Is that better?
5.
In the pit lane with Bobby Trundley of Team Brit. The car behind you, what happened?
What happened was I was letting, I had a couple of faster cars go by, a Golf and a Peugeot TCR car, and I let the Golf by. The Peugeot thought it was a smart idea to try get by me and try and overtake the Golf down Grey Mill Bend, clobbered, and yeah.
So if we can just take a look at the car as well. I mean, I want to ask a stupid question, but that's your day over.
The car's done for the day, yeah, unfortunately. It is what it is. The car was strong this weekend. We don't have the straight line speeds, but we were hoping for Brands to be our strongest track for this car. You know, I'm mainly in the Aston, but it was an honour to be part with Luke. Luke did a fantastic first stint, made up 9 places, but I feel bad, but it's racing, but yeah, not happy.
Yeah, so we waited for you to calm down a little bit. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
A pretty disappointing afternoon, but thanks for speaking to us.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
Good to hear from Bobby Trundley, a karting ace, now moving up into cars with Team Brits. Sadly, his day is done. Collision with Steve Rothery's Peugeot, and they're both out of the race. Okay, your leader is Axel Van Nederveen in the Ginetta. 2 wins at Silverstone with Adriano Medeiros, but driving solo, we're told today. Now, where is Simon Baker? 13th place, the last car on the lead lap. That's where, after his problems earlier on. Just coming out of the pits when the safety car came out. You can see he's almost at the back of the line, so we'll wait to see if that BMW is now okay, and we can see him charge through the field. Will it be a burn from the stern, as they say in American racing? Your second place car is Andy Mollison's Renault Clio. Third is James Black in his Clio. Terry Stevens in the Peugeot is fourth. Mark Lee's Ginetta is going to be the one to watch in fifth. Sixth place, a few cars further back in the line, Richard Higgins in the Porsche. It's Arthur McMahon's green and white Honda Civic up in seventh place, and he's leading Class 3. Mollison leading Class 2. I think we're going to go back to green this time through. Yes, the green flag is out. Safety car is in pit lane, and we're racing once again with just over 10 minutes of the race to go. Everybody has made their pit stops. And away goes the Ginetta, away goes the Clio. And here comes Terry Stevens. And off goes Alistair Lindsay. Wallop straight in on the inside. I think he's gone into the barrier. 34 Alistair Lindsay's Seat Leon goes off on the run-up Halewood Rise there. I think he's gone into the tyre wall on the inside. Unfortunately, that could breed another safety car. They say safety cars breed safety cars. We saw Alistair go sliding off there. Axel van Nederveen going clear in the Ginetta. He's already well ahead. Look at the lead he's pulled out here over Andy Mollison. That Ginetta is checked out at the front of the field. There's the Clio in second. Terry Stevens attacking as they go into paddock now. Has Alistair Lindsay got going again in the Seat Leon? I think he went into the tyre wall, so it's waiting to see if he's rejoined there. Terry Stevens up into second place now. Mark Lee is into fourth. James Black in the blue Clio goes down to fifth. Then Richard Higgins is sixth. Arthur McMahon seventh. Then eighth place is Steve Thompson. He's second in the Clio class. Ninth place, the McMahon and Plant Alfa Romeo. Barry McMahon now on board. And in 10th place, it is Brian Bransom in the BMW started by Jasveer Sapra. There is Branson, the grey car, getting past the Alfa Romeo, and look at the way that Simon Baker's going. He's ahead of both of them already. Andy Mollison has dropped back into fourth place now as Van Nederveen goes clear in the Ginetta. Stevens second, Mark Lee is up into third. They've got ahead of Andy Mollison in the Clio. Now Mark Lee is going to try and go for it here. What are his lap times compared to the Van Nederveen and Medeiros Ginetta? Now, currently lapping only a few tenths of a second quicker. It's coming up on Terry Stevens. Mark Lee, the transport company boss at the wheel of the SVG Motorsports Ginetta. Has a look on the inside, coming through Clark Curve. He's going to attack Terry Stevens on the run down towards Paddock Bend. Goes to the outside here. Terry Stevens in the Peugeot holds the inside. Ginetta's got the power advantage coming out of Paddock Bend. He's going to go second on the outside. He's done it. Now, what's the gap to Axel van Nederveen? Cleared off at the restarts. The gap was just over 5.5 seconds. So the car to watch here is the number 74 of Mark Lee. Can he catch the similar Ginetta out in front? 7 minutes of the race to go. There are your leaders. Van Nederveen, Lee, Stevens. Fourth place, Andy Mollison. He still leads Class 2 in the grey Clio. But Richard Higgins is catching him, so we're going to have a battle to the finish in Class 2 as well. Clio against Porsche. The Clio class is led by James Black. He was the last man to make his pit stop in the number 67 car, and it worked out well for him. Able to gain time by pitting when the safety car was coming out. Class 3 is still being led by Arthur McMahon's Honda Civic. Alistair Lindsay's car, I think, is out of harm's way. It did hit the tyre wall on the inside of the exit of paddock after spinning on the first lap of the restart. Seat Leon out of the race. They've lost quite a few cars from this one. Early retirement for the Tony Davies and James Colburn Clio, which went off at paddock. Now the leader being held up slightly here by James Chase in the MX-5, our newcomer this weekend. That's going to lose him some time there. He's got round the outside, but look at Mark Lee coming up now. The gap was 4.1 seconds, a lot less now. It's down to 0.8 of a second. Mark Lee's eating into Axel van Nederveen's lead here. Battle of the Ginettas at the front in the Goodyear Brick Car Endurance Championship Trophy category. They're both Class 1 cars. Third in Class 1 is Terry Stevens, and there's been a change for the lead in Class 2 as well. Richard Higgins taking advantage of the power of the Porsche and the drying track to take the lead of Class 2 from Andy Mollison. Great effort by the Clio. Richard Higgins' Porsche looking to extend his Class 2 lead. There go the leaders. They've got just over 5 minutes of this race to go. James Black still leads the Clios, 6th overall, using the pit stops to score. Now Mark Lee can sense his first overall victory of the season. Meanwhile, where is Simon Baker in the BMW? He is up in 7th place. I don't think he's going to catch the 2 Ginettas, but he's giving it a good go. He's just another fastest lap of the race, 52.306. Leaders head up into Druids. Mark Lee is getting closer and closer. They're coming up to lap the Cook family. Steve Cook at the wheel of the Honda Civic ahead of them there. Reigning Class 3 champions. Down the Cooper Straights. Mark Lee limbering up. Just waiting for the slightest mistake from Van Nederveen, and Steve Cook trying to get out of the way there. Mark Lee is going to try and pounce at Clearways. The leader momentarily held up by Steve Cook's Honda, which now gets out of the way. Here they come towards Clark Curve. Mark Lee trying to get into the slipstream of the similar Ginetta ahead of him. Over the line they go. 40 laps completed of the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. 0.4 of a second in it between the 2 Ginettas. Terry Stevens in 3rd. Got to keep an eye on where Simon Baker's BMW is as well. 7th last time around. Surely going to make up another place shortly because James Black in the less powerful Clio is ahead of him. Yes, he's up into 6th. Last lap was a 54.6, so he's not really catching the 2 Ginettas. Brian Bransom's through to 7th as well ahead of James Black, but Black's still leading the Clio class, although the Clio of Steve Thompson is closing in on him. They're separated by about 13 seconds further back, the 2 Clios. And Arthur McMahon has just brought the Honda Civic into the pits, so that's our Class 3 leader possibly in trouble. If so, who'll take the lead of Class 3? His teammate, the Alfa Romeo of Barry McMahon and Paul Plant. The lead has increased a little there. Axel van Nederveen over Mark Lee. There's the Alfa Romeo, which is now leading Class 3 with its teammate in the pits. Mark Lee trying to pull alongside. There's the... it's got a stop-go penalty. What is that for? Doesn't say on the timing screen what that was for, presumably for a short pit stop for the 45 car, the Irishman Arthur McMahon. That's lost in the lead of Class 3. There go the leaders. And car 15 under investigation for overtaking under the safety car. That's Richard Higgins, the leader of Class 2, so he could get a penalty for passing under the safety car. We'll see what happens when the officials make the decision. There go the leaders. The lead gap is now up to 1.1 seconds. It's still Van Nederveen from Lee. We're in the closing stages now. Only 2 minutes to go, so just a couple more laps after this one. Axel van Nederveen looking for win number 3 for the number 111 Ginetta of Datum Motorsports this season. Great drive, he got the pit stop, the late pit stop, proving absolutely right because of the safety car coming out right at the end of the pit stop period. Got a couple of back markers ahead of him. Terry Stevens is still in 3rd place, quite a long way back. Mark Lee, though, is pushing on. He's just on the quickest lap of the race, 52.086. Here comes Mark Lee. He knows there's only a couple of laps to go. He's unleashing his finishing kick here. Van Nederveen to the inside of the 47 Ginetta. And Mark Lee could be caught out by back markers here. 47 driven by Stuart Gibbons. As Lee gets through, Charlotte Birch is between. So the Ginettas everywhere at Graham Hill Bend. Look at this. Ginettas of all different kinds and sizes. Mark Lee has been delayed slightly there. He's going to have to really push. They're coming round to start the last lap of this Goodyear Brick Car Endurance Championship Trophy Category Race 1. As those back markers just decided it, Mark Lee was up with Axel van Nederveen. He couldn't get through. There were 2 other cars there at Druids. I don't think he's going to do it now, Mark Lee. He seems fated not to win a race this year. If it hadn't been for that spin, he might now be out in front. Down to paddock. Mark Lee is really keeping up the chase here. Yeah, his last lap, he lost a couple of seconds there. 1.6 seconds now the lead margin. I think Van Nederveen has done enough out of Druids. Two Ginettas well clear by about 8 seconds of their opposition. A great drive by Axel Van Nederveen, the Dutchman in the Datum Motorsports Ginetta. Mark Lee tried his hardest, but he's going to be frustrated again. Here they come around Clearways. Taking advantage of problems for Woodrow Motorsport. It's going to be Datum Motorsport's third win of the season. Here comes Axel Van Nederveen. There is the checkered flag. Van Nederveen wins Britcar Trophy race number 1. Mark Lee comes over in second and gets the fastest lap of the race. Third place, Terry Stevens in the Peugeot. Fourth, and the winner of Class 2 should be Richard Higgins in his Porsche. He is under investigation for a possible overtake under the safety car. In fact, did he lose that fourth place? Yes, he gets the class win, but he lost fourth. Brian Bransom gets past him on the line. Stealthily there up the order, Brian Bransom in the BMW. He takes fourth, Higgins fifth. And sixth for the Baker and Clark Woodrow Motorsport BMW. Simon Baker coming home in sixth place. Andy Mollison brings the Clio home seventh. Eighth over the line is James Black. He wins the Clio category, leading home Steve and Aaron Thompson. And rounding out the top 10, Anthony Hutchins in the Porsche Boxster. He gets third in Class 2. Class 3 is won by Barry McMahon and Paul Plant in the Alfa Romeo Giulietta. Well, exciting finish there to a rather chaotic first race for the Goodyear Britcar Endurance Championship Trophy category. Several of the front runners hitting trouble. We can confirm the provisional result then of our first Britcar race of the day. Van Nederveen, I believe, driving solo today, taking the win by 2.25 seconds ahead of Mark Lee in a Ginetta 1-2. Terry Stevens in the Peugeot a fine third ahead of Jasvir Sapra and Brian Bransom, snatching fourth right at the death from Richard Higgins. He wins Class 2. Baker and Clark, who led the first half of it but suffered a gremlin, finish in 6th position. Andy Mollison's Clio 7th. James Black wins the Clio category in 8th, just ahead of the Thompson father and son pair. Anthony Hutchins rounds up the top 10 in his Porsche. Peter Spano and Andy Bentley drop back at the start in the wet but come through to finish 11th, ahead of the Team Brit BMW of Tucker and Graham. Class 3 won by McMahon and Plant in the Alfa Giulietta, ahead of Wheatley and Chandler in the Volkswagen Golf, and the O'Brien Cherrington Clio rounds out the top 15. Behind them, Anton Spires and Darren Gerhardt's in their Clio. Arthur McMahon got a stop-go penalty, I presume, for a short pit stop. He finishes 17th ahead of the Golf of Rob Taylor. Charlotte Birch 19th ahead of the Gibbons and Vin Allmeyer Ginetta, and the Griffiths and Vin Allmeyer Ginetta. Jamie Vin Allmeyer doubling up today. The Cook family's Honda was next, then James Chase in his Mazda MX-5. After that, I think we lost the Kuma and Simmons Honda Civic. They had problems further back. Frost and Kara, of course, were late starters with the problems with their BMW, and we lost Alistair Lindsay, Steve Rothery, Luke Pound and Bobby Trundley. The McGregor Tomlinson Mazda RX-8 and the Colburn Davies Clio were all casualties in that one, unfortunately. So well done indeed then to the Ginetta pilots out in front. 45 laps completed in a time of 50 minutes 21.953. Mark Lee second again, sadly, does get the consolation of the fastest lap. Commiserations to Simon Baker and Kevin Clark as well. They destroyed their opposition in the first half of the race, but what looked like an electrical gremlin may have held them up in that one. They had to settle for 6th and 5th in class.
Class number 1, talk us through your race. You look absolutely knackered.
Yes, it was knackering. It was basically, the wet was awful in the rear wheel drives. It's basically nearly always stepping out at the back. You could see all the front wheel car drivers just drove past. But thank God once it got dry, and then, yeah, I think we were lucky in terms of the timing of our pit stop as well.
Yeah.
So we then sort of made it to the finish. And it was hard because I thought Mark wasn't sure whether he was one lap behind. Or right behind me. So then I had to push again, try to make sure he'd stayed behind me. So easy job done.
Literally just before the start of the race, showers opened. Any decision making to be made, or you just got to go with what you've got?
Unfortunately, you have to go with what you got. We had testing on Friday was just as awful. I think every session that we came out, the rain started. So we had, in that sense, practice as to how not to get off, let's put it that way, but certainly not a way to go fast.
And as the closing stages, Mark here to his left was right behind you, held him off though, looking to do the same in race number 2 later on today.
I hope so. It's going to be fun. That's very good for sure.
Go and have a rest, have a drink.
Thank you.
It. Congratulations.
All right, thanks.
I'd love to get a chat with Mark actually in second place if we can. Here's his car here, the beautiful yellow and black livery. Mark, can we grab a quick chat with you? Is that all right? I'm going to hand you that to hold. Sorry to take the
Sorry,
I know you need a rest, sorry. Second place, you nearly caught Axel.
Yeah, I think few less safety cars, and I might have been there, but yeah.
And there was a spin at the start as well.
Yep, just.
I mean, is that a good performance? Are you happy with that, or is it more frustration?
Yeah, happy. They've said I've got fastest lap as well, so yeah, I'm happy with that going into race.
I think you got the fastest lap with about 90 seconds to go.
I did.
Yeah.
I was trying.
So, what do you do differently for the second race this afternoon? Can you catch him?
Try not to spin.
That's simple.
That's it.
I think it is that simple, isn't it? Congratulations. We'll let you have a rest. Really appreciate
cheers,
your time. Thank you.
Cheers.
Now we need to speak to. I'd love to speak to Richard Higgins, car number 15 of the County Classics team. Qualified second in Class 2, but was your winner. In fact, he might have gone through scrutineering. In fact, it's almost empty here in Park Fair, mate. I'm going to go back to Dave. If we can find him, you can come back over to Western Park Fair, mate.